Welcome back to another episode of the Even Your Dynasty Show. We finally got some baseball in today after 2 straight rainouts. We did get a game in against the Oakland A's that was televised. So for those that were able to catch the game, we had some promising things that came from it, including Jordan Hicks looking downright nasty. Um, Mason Black made an appearance, got touched up a little bit before settling in, gave up 1 run over 2 innings. And then Landon Roop showing why many people are very high on him in the organization and think it's very likely that he's going to make a debut this year. I came across the thought when I was watching the game that he looks a lot like Ryan Vogelsong to me. Now he has a little bit better stuff than Vogelsong did. Touched 97 on his sinker today, but just the style in which he pitches just fills the strike zone, lives at the knees, trusts the defense behind him. So really promising from Roop, and I think he's going to make his debut at some point this season. He looks really good. But today's episode, what we're going to talk about is that the annual farm system rankings have come out now. These are all obviously subjective. They vary from different companies that release their lists. We're going to kind of run down the list. Baseball America had them ranked 22nd. ESPN was the highest on the Giants system. They had them at 15. The Athletic had them ranked at 23rd, and MLB.com had them ranked at 17th. Of those, and we're going to go off of the MLB.com prospect rankings, the Giants had 4 players in the top 100. Kyle Harrison at number 23, Marco Luciano at number 39, Carson Whisenhunt at number 83, and then Bryce Eldridge at number 96. So one of the biggest, I think, complaints for a long time is the Giants seemingly have kind of lived in the bottom tier of teams when it comes to farm system. And I think there's a little bit of a misconception going around. I see a lot of people that talk about how the Giants don't have a good farm system. And I just personally, I don't think that's true. Now, I'm not trying to be a homer here or say it's great, because it's clearly not like one of, this isn't the Baltimore Orioles farm system or even the Padres or the Cubs, where they're just full of top 100 prospects. And that's where they get separated from those teams, is they don't have the high end prospects. But this system is deeper than it's been at any point in probably the last 20 years. Top to bottom, you look at the top 30 list, for instance, there's a lot of guys that look like quality, look like they're going to be quality ball players down in the 20s and, the late teens and the 20s. For instance, you have guys down, like they're number 30th right now. Eric Miller looks like he's going to be a quality left-handed reliever. Kaiwei Tang is number 25. He looks like he's going to be, at least a bulk guy, kind of Jacob Junis type, quality major league arm. Guys like Victor Barracoto, who's number 22nd, who looks like, he had 27 home runs between high A and double A last season, which are 2 very pitcher-friendly leagues. Tyler Fitzgerald, who looks like he's going to be a major league utility player at least, and has a lot of kind of intriguing skills. He's their 21st. So I don't want to say it's a bad system, because it definitely is a better system than it's been in a long time. It's deeper. Now, like we were talking about, what separates the system with the top teams is kind of a lack of high-end guys. You have teams like the Cubs who have 7 players in the top 100. A lot of teams that constantly are having teams like the Orioles, who have had the number 1 ranked prospect like 3 years running now. A lot of these teams that have guys constantly in the top 5 to 10 on the top 100. And the Giants just haven't had that. Luciano and Harrison have kind of crept their way into the top 10 in recent years, or top 15 or 20. But right now, Harrison's their highest rank at 23, and he's going to graduate from the list really soon. So, we talk about where they're ranking right now, but as soon as some of these guys might graduate off the list, this suddenly, they're going to drop even further. Now, where I do think they could improve is, especially with the people they picked up last season, they have a lot of players in the system that are really toolsy players with a ton of upside. Guys like Bryce Eldridge, if he moves as fast as people think, he's going to go from 96 up into the top 50 real quick. I think a guy like Walker Martin or guys like Rainer Arias, that Arias is one of the two players that I honestly, him and Eldridge, I would have as completely untouchable. I would not be moving them in any trade. I'm really high on those two players. Those are two guys that could move really fast up the rankings. And if you get 2 or 3 of these guys to have awesome seasons, jump up the rankings, suddenly the Giants are probably going to end up in the 10 range, or maybe even creeping into the top 10 on the rankings. So lots of pitching. That's the clear strength of this system. 13 of their top 30 are pitchers. If you look at their top 10, it's 5 of the 10 are pitchers. And then 11, 12, 13, and 14 are pitchers. So 9 of their top 14 prospects are pitchers. And many of those are at the upper levels, where you have obviously Harrison. He's in the majors. Carson Whisenhunt's going to either be in AA or AAA to start the year. They're talking about having him, debut in the majors this year. Hayden Birdsong finished last season in AA. Mason Black fighting for a 5th spot in the rotation. Reggie Crawford probably going to start in AA. Joe Whitman was their 3rd round draft pick last season, or comp pick last season. He is going to probably be in high A, to start the year. Landon Roop, who has been getting rave reviews from everyone, going to probably start in AAA this season. Keaton Wynn in the majors. Trevor McDonald might be in the majors to start the year. There's a lot of upper levels pitching that they have that are knocking on the door. And this is why I do believe they could withstand not getting another quote unquote proven arm. It might blow up in their face. It might not work out. It's a dangerous game to play going with a bunch of young pitchers, but they are a team that I think could potentially withstand that, just based on what they have in their system and what some of these kids are showing in spring training right now. So, and we're going to get some glimpses on some of these other guys. I don't know how many of you have seen the new spring breakout games that are going to happen. They're going to play the A's. Lots of interesting names on that list, where you're going to have Eldridge is going to play, Arias is going to play, Barracoto is going to play. Actually, I think he might have gotten removed from the list, but Walker Martin's going to play. The rotation, pitching staff is going to be led by Hayden Birdsong and Carson Seymour. Maui Acuña is going to play. Tons of big names in the system that are going to be playing in that game. So, check it out if you get the opportunity. That'll be a really fun one to watch. So, just wanted to kind of give my thoughts. I do think that they get kind of a bad rap, but this really is not a bad system. It just lacks the high end. And I do think that after this season, a couple of these guys are going to emerge, and they're going to have a few more of those high end players, and they are going to jump up the rankings. But the reality is, it's a system that has not bore fruit under Farhan Zaidi's tenure. The closest we have so far is, Patrick Bailey and Kyle Harrison, who are up on the big league team now. But these guys are, nobody has proven themselves at the major league level. So I think that's where the biggest complaints, at least for me, lie with the system. Is it hasn't produced the major league talent. It's not that the talent lacks. And I don't know if that's a player development issue or what with the organization, but that has been a clear kind of thing that has happened in the last, during Farhan Zaidi's tenure. But this is his opportunity. This is his year that he has made it clear that he wants a bunch of these young guys to get opportunities. So it could go a long way for helping the way he's viewed and the way his tenure is viewed. Or if it's another season where nobody really emerges and they're relying on the vets and it's a mediocre season, it probably could and should bury his tenure and be the end for Farhan Zaidi. So tell me what you guys think. If you like this content, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're pushing close to 300 subscribers. It's pretty awesome. Appreciate all the support everyone gives. And we'll catch you next time. We're going to talk about the second week of spring training. I got a ton of good feedback on doing that video last week. So we're going to do kind of who stood out this week on the spring training games. Obviously, we lost 2 of the games because of rain, but we still had quite a bit of action that we can talk about. So catch you guys all tomorrow. Have a